Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video I'm going to be talking about beginners runners tips and what sort of advice I would give to a person who is considering running or is literally just about to start running. I am by no means a professional runner or a running coach or anything like that, but I have some experience in running, and these are the sort of tips that I would have appreciated when I started running myself. I've been running for about 7 years now, so I would say I'm pretty experienced and sort of know what I'm talking about running wise. And like I said, this is just a bit of advice for those starting out and things that have helped me in my running journey. So hopefully they help out a couple of other people too. There have been an influx in runners lately. If you're watching this at present time, as in the day or a few days after it's been uploaded, we are currently in the COVID-19 pandemic, and there's been a lot of people that have been starting out running for their form of exercise, a way to sort of relieve stress and anxiety, things like that. Running is really great for that. So I sort of understand the reason why there's been so many new runners about, and thought this would be helpful for those that are just starting out or considering starting running. So I am going to be sharing some tips with you all. My first tip, and probably the most important one, although might not be possible at current, but if you're watching this in the future, I definitely recommend it, is to get a gait analysis. Basically that is where you get on a treadmill with videos that are analysing your running technique, and they recommend the sort of shoes that you are supposed to wear. Every person is different, every runner is different, and the sort of shoe you get depends on your running style. So you may underpronate, which basically means that you roll your foot in. You may overpronate, which means that you roll your foot out, or you may be a neutral runner. So whether you have either of those would depend on the sort of shoe that you have, and it sort of helps to correct your running form when you're running. And there are special shoes for that, so you get cushion shoes, stability shoes, or neutral shoes depending on what you are. I'm a neutral runner, but my other half, he's an overpronator, so he rolls outwards on his foot, which means that he needs a bit more stability and cushion in his shoes, so that's what he goes for. So I would definitely recommend that, but like I say, in the current situation we aren't currently able to get gait analysis done. I don't know whether they do any sort of online ones at the moment. I'm not really sure on that, but definitely once this is all over, definitely get a gait analysis. It really helps out, and it really helps to stop you getting injured or to help alleviate any strains that you're putting on your body. Similarly, while we are on the talk of kit, sports bras are really important for women. Doesn't matter whether you have small boobs, big boobs, whatever, you still need a supportive sports bra. It is really important, and it helps to support the boobs so that you don't do any sort of damage and cause any premature sagging of your breasts, because if you are not correctly supported it can damage the ligaments, which causes premature sagging. So I definitely recommend getting yourself a proper sports bra. I'm a Boobidoo ambassador, so I'm obviously going to recommend Boobidoo as a sports bra retailer to buy from, so I'll leave their link down below for you to check out the different sports bras that are available. But definitely, if you're not wearing one or you're wearing like a light support, definitely don't. It doesn't matter whether you have small boobs, you still need that support and to stop that sagging. So yeah, definitely get a proper sports bra, and it's also far more comfortable. In terms of other kit that I would recommend, I don't think you really need to go out and buy any sort of specialist kit. A like cheap pair of gym shorts and a sweat wicking t-shirt, as long as the material is sweat wicking, that's the most important thing. And you can buy those for cheap when you're starting out. The only thing that I would recommend not sort of skimping on is obviously your shoes and your sports bra and your socks. I think socks are really important. Don't wear cotton socks when you are running. You can be really prone to blisters, so get yourself some proper running socks. I've got some Runderwear running socks, I've got Features running socks, they're another good one, and Belega, they're all recommended brands that you should get, so definitely don't scrimp on your running socks. My next tip is to make sure that you have a plan. I always tend to recommend the C to 5k plan, the Couch to 5k plan. I think it was made by the NHS. If it's not, I'm really sorry, and I'll put it up here if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was made by the NHS. When I started running, I was doing the C to 5k, but it was on podcasts, and they were like really old podcasts where it was like literally just someone speaking for the running and walking intervals. But now they have like an app and things like that, and there are other sort of training plans for run walk online. Don't sort of be afraid to use the run walk method. That is how most people start out running. It's not just about being able to run a certain distance or time straight away. You do have to build up, and that's really important to do that. So definitely having a plan in place, either using the C to 5k app or some of the other run walk plans that are out there. I know Running World has a couple. I'll leave some plans and things down below that have been recommended in the past, so I'll leave those down below, or the C to 5k app. That's definitely worth checking out. Whilst we are on the topic of having a plan, it is important to recognise the rest days that they've put in there and not to do too much too soon. You can get injuries from overuse and overtraining, and that's a really bad thing to happen. And it sort of is quite demoralising as well, especially when you're just starting out. The last thing that you need is to get some sort of injury. So definitely listen to your body, take the rest days when it says, and don't try to do too much too soon. You can get things like shin splints, which are awful. I definitely don't recommend sort of getting those, so definitely stick to the plan, and listen to your body, take things slow. You don't have to be doing like really fast speeds or anything like that. So yeah, that's another recommendation. Just take things at your own pace. You don't have to sort of see what everyone else is doing and try and match that straight away. The next tip that I would recommend is to make sure that you are warming up, cooling down and stretching. This is something that I really didn't do when I was starting out running, and it sort of led to a couple of niggles and things like that. It's really important to make sure that you warm your body ready for when you are going to start exerting yourself a bit more than you would usually. So warming up your body properly and getting your muscles ready for that sort of ramp up in intensity is definitely a good idea. Same with cooling down, you need to allow your body to cool down properly. Same with stretching, it's really important for recovery and reducing your injuries. Just make sure that you stretch it out. I do have a video, it's quite old, I might do a new one, where I did like pre and post run stretches, so I'll leave that in a card up here somewhere. I keep forgetting which side it is, I will remember at some point. But yeah, pre and post run stretches is really important, and the sort of stretches that you do is really important as well. I explained that in the video, so definitely check that out. But yeah, that's really important for making sure that you recover properly. Also stay hydrated, make sure you drink plenty of water. You do sweat a lot when you run, and you need to make sure that you drink plenty of water throughout. Another great investment if you are starting to get into running, or you're going to do it a bit more regularly, is to get a foam roller or some sort of like massage tool for you to use, and that will help you with your recovery too. My next tip would be to make sure that you have some small goals in mind, or really some end goals in mind if that's what you want. I say this for sort of any sort of running activity that you are doing, to have goals in mind that help to motivate you and give you something to work towards as such, whether that be a time goal, whether that be a distance goal. Initially, I would say if you're a beginner runner, sort of focus more on distance than time, like getting to a mile, getting to your 5k distance for C to 5k, things like that. Setting small goals over time for you to sort of work towards. Pace can come afterwards, it's mostly about the distance and the distance that you cover. Another tip leading on from that is to make sure that you are not paying too much attention to the things you see on social media. I think I might be out of focus. Yeah, don't pay too much attention to what you see on social media when you're starting out. It can be really toxic for your running journey. Don't sort of compare yourself to others and get discouraged in that respect. When you're starting out, Strava can be really bad, so stay away from like Strava profiles. You don't want to be comparing yourself to someone else's journey. They may have been running far longer than you, Someone's running makeup and their natural running ability might be different to yours, so even though you start at the same time, everyone's sort of journey is different, and it's important to bear that in mind. The worst thing you can do is sort of compare your journey to someone else who started out around the same time as you, and they're doing a longer distance, a longer time, things like that, and then you sort of get discouraged and you don't enjoy it anymore. That's the last thing that you want to be doing. So I'd say, yeah, try not to get into that comparison trap, and just run for you, really, and don't run for anyone else. Find your reasons for running, and just go with it. My last and final tip, if you are particularly struggling with motivation to run whilst you're a beginner runner, or just in general if you're maybe not enjoying it as much, if you don't find that you have much structure to your running routine, is to either go to a running club, join a running club. Again, in the current situation that we're in, it's probably not wise to join a running club, and the running clubs won't be doing their sessions at the moment. However, when things start to get back to normal, running clubs will be available and they're really good. I don't personally join one because I like running alone, but if you prefer to sort of work out in a group and run in a group, running groups are really good, and they provide like proper structured sessions, and even just that accountability where you are attending one of the club sessions and you get to run with other people. That can be really encouraging, and it can be really supportive to be in that sort of group. Otherwise, you have things like running communities. There are a lot of Facebook groups out there that have running communities. I'll link a couple that I am a part of and that I really enjoy and get a lot of encouragement, support, motivation from, and I think they're really sort of important groups to join if you sort of struggle with the motivation and encouragement support sort of thing, if you've not got anyone sort of in your immediate family that you can run with. If you have any friends, run with those. If you can encourage a family member or anything like that to run as well. Again, it's all sort of, I'm sort of talking in a broader spectrum at the moment, because we are sort of restricted to what we can do in terms of like meeting a friend for a run. I don't recommend that at the moment, or family or anything like that. But I'm sort of thinking future wise for people once this is all over. So yeah, definitely getting yourself people that you can be accountable to, and people that will support and encourage you along the journey. That's really important too. So they are all the tips I have for you. Hopefully some of you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments if you are a beginner runner, if you found this video because you're thinking of starting out running. If you have any questions about running, I'd be happy to answer them. Like I said, I'm not a professional in any sense, I'm not a running coach, but I will do my best based on my own experience of running over the last 7 years. So if you have any sort of questions or anything, then leave those down below. But otherwise, I hope you found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more content like this, more running videos and fitness videos. I put out a new video every Sunday. But other than that, I hope you're all staying safe and well, and I will see you again next week. Bye.